Hello, everyone. I'm so glad this happened on this particular day. Don't get me wrong. No, I don't like the fact that the capital of Ukraine, Kyiv, which is a historic city full of priceless old buildings and churches and works of art, is getting pummeled. Nor am I thrilled that other cities in Ukraine are getting pummeled. However, if they have to get pummeled, at least let's make this useful. And this was indeed useful. Because this was the day when Britain's Keir Starmer decided to come visit. And I said many times, any person who has any doubts as to what is happening in Ukraine, be it a head of state, an ambassador, a human rights representative, or any regular person, anybody, if you have any doubts, go there. And you'll have an eye-opening experience, and that is what happened. Keir Starmer got a full royal treatment. He came to Kyiv, and all hell was breaking loose, and he got to see it firsthand. So I think, or I hope, that this experience will solidify at least British support for Ukraine and give the UK a stronger voice in NATO when talking about it. Because it really is amazing how much stronger you become to feel about something with rockets flying over your head. Also, news from Poland. So, Polish Prime Minister Tusk said yesterday that Russia was planning to conduct acts of terrorism in the air by planting a bunch of firebombs aboard aircraft for them to explode mid-flight. What they're talking about is a parcel which blew up at the logistics depot in Europe. And at this time, the security services are suggesting it was a test run by Russia. Basically, put a parcel in as you would any type of mail, right? So it would be put into a cargo section of the airplane, or it would be traveling specifically by a postal airplane. Anyway, boom goes the dynamite. Thing explodes midair. Everybody dies, or there is an emergency landing. Of course, Russia is denying all of that. And the more they deny it, the more I tend to believe the Polish. The Poles have been really amazing when it comes to supporting Ukraine. And what is truly astounding, and I mentioned this in the past, Poland and Ukraine historically weren't exactly the best of friends. On the contrary, they have some territorial disputes. They used to fight wars. They have a really intense history. However, they banded in the face of a common enemy, which is Russia. Neither one of them wants to be part of Russian Empire again. Both have memories, nightmares, from back in the days of the Soviet bloc. So, yeah, I would listen to Poland. They know what they're talking about. There is this piece in today's NPR Morning Edition. He lied. Trump lied about ending the war in 24 hours. Remember, he started saying initially that he could do it before he even took office. Well, he has 4 days. So far, nothing. The last time I checked, the war's still going on. Then he said he could finish it in or out of office in 24 hours. Seriously doubt it. If you listen to anybody smart, and Donald Trump is not one of those people, anybody who understands the situation, understands the history, understands the complexities in the region, they all agree this is bullshit. This cannot be resolved in 24 hours or even in 24 days. This will take work, and it will take discipline, experience, expert understanding of how things are in the region and how they were for roughly, I'd say modestly 500 years. Does that sound like Trump or any of his people? Didn't think so. But pop over to the NPR site, look up this article. There is a transcription, or you can listen to it. It covers many topics in addition to Trump's inflated promises of quick peace. It also talks about the Kursk operation. It talks about Europe basically bracing for Trump second edition, all of that. And lots of really useful information in there. It also talks about the Game of Drones, as we've been calling it, and the war of attrition, trying to hit Russia where it hurts, and being very careful about carrying out operations on the Russian territory to ensure that the damage to the military targets is maximum, but to minimize any damage to civilians, something Russia doesn't have the consideration to do. Another hot topic, of course, is what about Ukraine and NATO? And, folks are pointing out, so, okay, let's say Ukraine is not a NATO member, but you commit to military protection of Ukraine in case of an attack. How is that different from being a NATO member? Might as well make it a NATO member. And yeah, the risks of any kind of truce, any kind of ceasefire, understandably, Ukrainian government, people of Ukraine, Ukrainian military are skeptical. Their argument is that anytime we had a quiet period in this war, Russians basically just used that opportunity to beef up their weapons and attack with renewed savagery. And there is another article in Reuters basically talking once again that the whole talk about ending the war in 24 hours was complete bullshit. So, it's not just Ukrainian sources saying that. And notice that third point there on the bullet list. Putin keeps sending mixed messages. He's yanking your chain. That's what he's doing. He's not sending mixed messages. He's just messing with you. Because he knows you are not in control of this. He knows you're a fucking moron who doesn't know where Ukraine is on the map. And of course, this still continues. People in multiple regions in Ukraine find themselves without heat or electricity during freezing temperatures because Russia does not differentiate between military targets and civilian targets. Since they've launched a major ballistic missile attack and cruise missile attack on Wednesday, there's been a lot of damage. And again, even with all of the amazing work and experience that Ukrainian repair crews have acquired, constantly having to patch this thing up after the attacks, there's only so much they can do. Remember, as hard as their job is, think of all of your utility workers fixing stuff during hurricanes and snowstorms and so on. Now imagine doing that with bullets whistling overhead. That's what it's like for them.